Hey peeps, this is supposed to be a kind of like a guide on how to make a tic-tac-toe game, but in the middle of it, well, maybe not in the middle, I wasn't that far in, but I uh, well, the recording software crashed, corrupted the video, um, Hammer died, and I was like, okay, well, I might have some kind of a memory problem or something. So if this crashes again, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna need new hardware. But yeah, we're gonna be going over how to make a simple tic-tac-toe game in Portal 2. I was actually gonna go through the whole thing, making a new map, and then putting all the instances and stuff, but it crashed. I don't feel like doing that over. So what I will do, okay, this is just a simple block we put here. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this, and I'll delete this, and we'll redo that. We already went over this. Whoops. This is just our controller entity that we use to connect to this logic auto, so we can run our code here. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna copy this, I guess. Actually, no. Let's do it this way. Okay, go ahead and put that there. Out there, drag it out here. Okay, change our texture to trigger. And we'll go ahead and spawn this. And this is going to be our little detector for when we have either orange or blue shoot a ping on it. It will trigger this, and we can use that to detect the person shooting, and we can mark the grid position for that for a board. All right, so what are we gonna need here for our tic-tac-toe game? And I am going to reference other stuff. I really don't feel like doing it all over again, and it might crash again anyway. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna start out by deciding what we need here. All right, we need a board grid, and we're gonna have 3x3. So there's different ways you can do it. You can use classes like I did in the checkers and the battleship game I made. But I think for this specific example, since we're teaching tables as well, we're going to go ahead and use a table. So we'll go ahead and do board grid. Whoops. Oh, come on. We'll have X, which is going to be an array, and a Y, which is going to be an array. And what this is going to allow us to do is we can have 3 going across in X and 3 going down in Y. And this will allow us to create a grid space of 9. And then we can just reference the dimensions. So if we wanted 0x and 0y, that would just be this position here. And then 1x and then 0y, that would be here. 1x, 1y would be here, and 2x and 2y would be down there. So really simple. We can go ahead and use that to reference, like the grid position, and we can go ahead and create some different data and stuff. And like I said, I'm going to reference some other stuff because I don't feel like writing this over. So this is actually my checkers game that I made for Portal 2. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this here, and I'll put this up. Now this is what I'm going to be using to reference back to this game. It it doesn't have to be called AG3 globals. You can call it whatever you want. Um, I actually looked up a little bit more, and I found out that people call it, instead of static, they call it globals for the the thing that I refer to as a static. It's essentially the same thing, so you could call it either. But yeah, I'm gonna call mine AG3 globals. You can call it just whatever you want, but you got to remember the name of it. We're going to create value and put this in. Now, what is this? This is going to reference the current scope that we are in. So that means that since we are currently in the info targets control entity scope, that's where this is going to reference. And we're going to use that to go back to this position from inside of our map. And that'll be really useful later. All right, so down here, actually, instead of calling this AG3 globals, we'll just change it so you guys can have something that you'd name it. We'll just call it tictactoe globals. There we go. All right. So we can use this as a reference point to come back to this position. Down here, I'm going to create a tictactoe globals, whoops, classes. And what this is going to do is, you remember that we could put new elements? Well, we're making a new element called classes, which is going to be a new table, because you can see this right here, new table. And putting that inside of this. So essentially what this would be doing is putting this as oops, this basically. It's essentially the same thing, but I like to keep it like that so I can keep it on track with where it's supposed to go. Not required, but in some cases useful. So we're gonna go ahead and what are we gonna do? Okay, I think first things first, we're going to create a way to input our board position that we're hitting with the ping tool. So the way I did that in here, I tried so many different ways to get this to work, and so many things are missing from Portal 2's vscripts functionality that it was ridiculous. It took a while. So this is basically what I came up with. It's just a simple reference. So I can just do tic-tac-toe. We want to do it that way. You know, we'll do it a different way actually. Let's do it this way. We'll just refer to this as event blue ping, and that will give you X and Y. And then down here, I may have to make this font smaller though, because this is going to be kind of hard to see what I'm doing when we get into the later stages. Whoops, what am I doing? Okay, so now we have, extend that out. And now we have two little functions here that will be able to be triggered from our map if we call them inside of the tic-tac-toe globals. So if I go into here and I just do print line debug, and I'll put X and then put space here and then put Y. Actually, we'll do debug blue so we can keep track of it. And then we can go here and debug orange. Whoops. Okay, So now what do we need to do? Well, we have our event here. I'm going to go ahead and save this. And I can go ahead and copy this. And rather than have to copy this over and over with the other ones, I'll just copy this as well here. Put a period there. And we'll go ahead and cut this. I'll go ahead and save it again here. And I'm going to go into the map here. And we're going to go ahead and, whoops, I forgot to create the ping trigger. That's right. Okay, so hold down, make sure you have your little trigger selected, Control T, and we're going to set this as a trigger ping detector. Apply that. We don't need to give it a name. We do need to give it two outputs. One is going to be on blue player pinged, and entities named. Yeah, we could do it that way as well. Yeah, we'll do it that way. If we do it that way, we don't actually need the tictactoe globals. Whoops, what am I doing? I put that in the wrong area. Run script code. And then we'll put this here. Okay, so this is going to be 0, 0. And this is going to allow us to basically trigger that position 0, 0 on the board has been triggered by the blue player. And then I'm going to go ahead and copy this and paste. Orange player. And this is going to be the same position, only it's going to be orange. So we'll just change this to orange. All right. So really quickly, we can go into our game and test this just to make sure that everything's working properly. Now, going in and testing your code is very important. You do not want to find out that your code does not work. What did I even call this map? I don't know what I called the map. What is the map? Oh, AG3 tic-tac-toe. Okay. Whoops, I messed up. You actually need to do SS underscore map MP co-op AG3. Whoops. That was my bad. Since we're testing two players, if you don't have two players, it will, Oh, crap! I messed up. I forgot to put a player. Now wait a minute, it should have actually spawned though. Where is he? Okay, you know what? Oh, you know what I did? Shoot. Okay, well while we're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and make a info player start here. There should already be one inside that thing, I think, but for some reason we spawned. Did I maybe put it outside the? No, that's the other one. Maybe put it outside. It's kind of sticking through. All right, you know what? Let's move this forward here. This map isn't supposed to be pretty. It's just supposed to be. Ah, that's what happened. I'm inside the wall. Okay, there we go. The map's not supposed to be pretty, it's just supposed to be functional for what we're trying to do. If I decided to release this, then I would definitely redo the map. But go ahead and go into here and MP co-op, whoops, AG3, tic-tac-toe, boom. I didn't put SS, did I? I don't think I put SS. Dang it. Okay, well, important here, if it does this to you, it says partner disconnected, don't try and rejoin with the SS map until you click OK, because you get locked in a screen where it'll keep trying to open that. It's really annoying. Okay, so here we are. This is gonna look kind of not so great here, because this is supposed to be like inside the wall and stuff, but we don't need to worry about all that. Okay, so here's our little tic-tac-toe board. Open up the console, you can see here it's nothing there, so let's go ahead and hit ping, boom, and you can see debug blue 00. Good, that's exactly what we want. I'm going to go into here and I'm going to do speed sheets 1 and in force user 1. This will allow us to use the orange player. Come over here and boom, debug orange 00. And that is exactly what we want as well. Alright, so now we can go ahead and clone this ping entity and just go boop, 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 and then boop, 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 boop. And that's basically how I did the checkers board, but this is going to be much quicker since it's a tic-tac-toe board. So we'll go back into here. There's no need to leave your map. We can just leave that running. Let's go ahead and Control C, copy this, and I'm going to go ahead and right click this, paste special, just one copy. I'll leave it on the exact position here. This will force it to spawn on the exact position as the other one, and that will allow us to already have this aligned on our axes. Very useful. Alright, now we'll go into here. Our outputs, we need to change the outputs to position. Very important to make sure it's the right one. So this is going to be X1 and still a 0 for the Y. So we'll go ahead and change this one as well. Whoops, why did you do that? I did not have that selected. Okay, now we have two of them. Go ahead and go in here again. Copy, paste special, boom. Oops, what am I doing? I have to set the properties first here. Two. You might think this would be faster just to create all of them and then do just like go through all of them, but it's actually faster this way because some of them are already done for you, except for the first one here. So this first one is going to be 0x, so we'll have to go 0, and then we'll set 1 for y. So 0 y, boom. And then if I copy this and paste special, oops, then I can go into here, and now my Y position is already set, and I just have to modify the X position. So I'll just modify this to a 1, modify this to a 1, copy, paste special. All right, almost done here. Whoops. I screwed up. I hit the wrong one. I'm gonna delete that. I didn't do the paste special, and so it put it somewhere else. So rather than try and realign that, I'm just gonna delete it and redo it. Okay. So now we're down for 0x and 2y. So 0x, 2y, boom. Copy again, paste special. All right, 1, 2, 1, 2, and one more. Copy, paste special, and 2, 2. Okay, we'll go ahead and save this, and we're gonna go ahead and run this. And we don't need to worry about it being in the map. All we got to do is open this up and do SS map again here. Oh wait, no, I screwed up. You have to disconnect first. Okay, this message here, game server has been shut down. Make sure you click OK so you don't get locked in that stuck loop thing before you close the game. SS map. Actually, I should just grab it from console rather than do that. Let's do that. Okay, it's important when you're doing that you have to disconnect, because if you immediately reconnect, it will it'll lock you in that loop again. Okay, so I already have orange selected, so we'll just do orange first. So we already tested this one, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 0, 2, 1, 2, and 2, 2. Okay, so that works properly. We'll go ahead and switch back to our force user by switching to 0 again. Alrighty, and the same test. Okay. 0, 0. Good. Alright, we are good. Okay, so both of these are properly aligned to each of their grid positions. So now we have a way to tell our controller that the player is selecting positions. That is going to be very useful for later. Alright, what do we need now? Well, let's see. I brought up a little thing here to go with what we got to do. Okay, placing 0 and x's. Alright, I thought about this, and I think the way I'll do it, I was actually thinking about if I want to do it with class, or if I want to do it with tables or classes, but I may go with classes. I haven't actually shown off classes. I was actually going to do that before I did this, and I completely forgot. I knew there was something I was going to do. Oh well. I guess I'll explain it a little bit here. I'll make a proper video for it, but for now, let's see. I'm just going to look for something that looks similar to what I'm trying to do here. Yep, we'll use that one. Okay, so classes can basically allow us to make like an instance of data. So like I can create a constructor here, which is what we'll use on the entry point. When we do the constructor, we'll have to input what we're passing into it. With vscripts, you'll have to make sure that you have all this stuff not set down here, because it will be carried over, and it basically just kind of copies it. So you don't want to put that there. So we're going to go ahead and, where are we going to put this? We'll put it right here. Okay, so we're going to create a class, and tictactoe globals classes. Remember that our table that we created earlier here, we're now going to access this and create something inside of it. And we're going to call this board position data. All right. Constructor. And what do we need to pass into it? Let's see, we need to pass the grid X, the grid Y, and I don't think we need anything else right now for that. Okay, so now let's think about what we need as far as the different variables that are going inside this. We need I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. I think what I'll do is I'll just create a taken by team, and I can go ahead and set this to, how am I going to do this? I could use an enum, but I think I will go ahead and just do it this way. We'll just call this team orange, and team orange is going to be equal to 0, and team blue is going to be 1. Okay, so this is basically going to take these, and we're going to use them as reference. That if it's 0, we're going to reference it as team orange, and if it's 1, we'll reference it team blue. Okay, so I'm also going to have a team none, which I'll just make -1. And I'm going to use this team none here. I'll put this here just so we have a reference to what exactly this is linked to. I'm going to use this variable to tell if the board is taken by orange or blue, or if it's not taken by anything. So we'll go ahead and use that. Let's see. I think we'll do that for now. Okay, so what are we gonna do here? I'm gonna have to make this smaller. Hopefully you guys can still read this, but I have to make this smaller because it is just too hard to keep this stuff on screen. I have my text a little bit smaller than it shows up there, even so. When I program, because I like to see a whole bunch of stuff on screen at once. But we'll just stretch this down here as far as it'll go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create a new function, and this function is going to be basically the game start for setting up a board. So start new game, and then I'll have another function here, which is going to be generate board. Whoops. Come on. Okay. So inside of our generate board, I'm going to go ahead and do some advanced things with the arrays and uh, the loops that we haven't gone over yet. So it might be a little bit hard to keep track of. Like, I am not like doing this ahead of time, so I'm trying to think of how I want to do this and hoping that the video doesn't crash this time. Okay, generate board. Let's see. We'll have indexX. We'll set this to 0. Actually, no, let's do Y first. IndexY equal to 0. And we're going to have a loop while indexY is smaller than, let's see, let's make a new one here. We'll call this grid size is 3. Okay, smaller than grid size. Let's see, index y plus equal to 1. Okay, so what is this going to do? This is going to increment all the way from 0, 1, 2, and then it won't go to 3 because 3 is not smaller than 3, obviously. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then we're going to have another one inside of here, indexX. Oops, while indexX is smaller than grid size. IndexX plus equal to 1. Okay, so what are we doing here? This is creating a loop inside of a loop. So we're going to go inside of Y. We're going to start out at position 0. So we'll start out here. We're going, and then we're going to create this new variable for our X starting at 0. So we're at 0, 0. So we're on Y and 0, 0 here. Now we're going to do another loop here, and we're going to loop through this 3 different times. So we'll do this one, and then this one. We'll leave this, we'll increment Y, so now we're here, and we'll repeat this. So then we'll go boom, boom, boop, and then we'll increment again and boop, 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 going all the way through our board so we can get reference to all of our grid positions. And what we're going to do, let's see. Yeah, we'll do it this way. So board grid dot actually, no, I don't think I'm going to do it that way. Actually, now I'm looking at it, I can't do it that way because that's not a 2-dimensional array. I'm gonna have to use classes. I wasn't gonna use classes. I wanted to show tables because we haven't gone over classes, but I'm not gonna be able to do it that way because that's not going to be a 2-dimensional array. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of the board grid, and we're going to basically copy what we did in here. So we'll go ahead. Didn't want to do it that way because this is a bit more complicated to understand, but it's essentially the same thing as the tables, or would have been if that had been 2-dimensional. Okay, how did I actually do this? I'm trying to remember how I did this. I actually did it last night, and I don't remember. It just crashed, and I was like, you know what? screw it. I was gonna go to sleep, and then my friend wanted to play golf with friends, and I was like, okay. And then I was gonna go to sleep after that, and then later he was like, golf with your friends, and I was like, okay. Okay. Let me think. Okay, yeah, we'll do it that way. I didn't want to do it this way because I haven't gone over classes. I think what I will do is after I do this video, I'm gonna go back and I'll make the guide to classes, and I'll just put that before this one. So we're gonna be going forward and backwards in time. But yeah, we're gonna have to do it that way because I have to use classes for this, unfortunately. All right, well, classes, player grid. All right, so we're essentially doing the same thing here as we did in the other one. Let's see. You know, I might not do it that way. I might just call this the column. We'll call this the grid column. And inside of here, oh man. I was gonna go through this with tables, and I basically mapped out what I was gonna do beforehand. Now I'm trying to think here how we're gonna do this, because I don't want to write the code and then realize that it doesn't do what we want again. We just literally did that. But this is a part of programming, writing things and then realizing that you did it wrong. Okay, I think what we'll do, it's gonna be kind of annoying. Yeah, we'll do it that way. I don't like doing it like that, but yeah, we'll just do it that way. We'll know it works if we do it that way. Okay, so we'll just do player grid. Constructor, width and height, and down here you can see we have width equal to 0 and height equal to 0. Remember, this is uppercase and this one is lowercase. Make sure you don't get those confused. So width is equal to lowercase width, height is equal to lowercase height, and let's see, generate grid. That's another method in here. It's called a function, but it's essentially a method because it's inside the class. Go ahead, generate grid. And I'm going to go ahead and take this, copy this, put this inside of here. Boom, generate grid. All right, well, that's going to run this constructor when we go inside the class. It'll set this, and then it will run this method here, right there. Boom. And inside of here, let's see, column array. Oh, I didn't make that yet, did I? I gotta do that. Okay, we'll do that. Column array is equal to null. Local index equal to 0. while index is smaller than height. I like to do the index increment first, so you don't forget that, because that will go in an infinite loop if you don't have that. And this is essentially going to do the same thing we have up here, but we can't use the board grid because we can't make that a two-dimensional. I was not thinking when I did that. So we're going to go ahead and use the append command. And what this essentially does is it allows us to create a new array element. So essentially, if we had an empty array and we did append, it would push that on, and then you'd have one index in there. So then you could create another one, and then you could have another index. So you'd have index 0 and index 1. So this is going to allow us to basically extend out the array, which is going to be very useful for us. And you can see here that it's got this grid row. So that means we have a new class down here we got to create. And I'll just go ahead and go down here. All right, class tictactoe globals classes grid row constructor. Let's see, that takes what? That takes width and height index. Okay. So, whoops, lowercase width, lowercase height. Okay. Width is equal to lowercase width. If you're using a some kind of a code, you know, like the text it's not there, then you're gonna get all kinds of errors doing it this way, because we haven't created this yet. But I do not, since I'm just using Notepad. Okay, so what do we need? We need uppercase width here, height index, and row array. Okay, I will explain this after we get through it here. I just want to get this stuff set up here. Okay, so generate row here, that's going to be new function. And we're going to take row array equal to a new array here, local index equal to 0. Come on. While index smaller than the lowercase width. Yeah, lowercase width. Oh, wait a minute. I also need this in here. I didn't see that. Okay, index plus equal to 1. And then row array append. And this is actually going to pull in this thing here that we made earlier. So I'll go ahead and take this forward position data, and we're passing in index as X and the height index as the Y. All right, now we need to go back up here because we never added this. We need to create a new grid row. And you can see that you need to pass in the width and the index. So width, uppercase, and the index. Okay, now that I've gone through that, it's time to explain what this does. I was going to do it with this one because that's easier to see, but since you can't do two-dimensional arrays in Squirrel, at least no way that I've tried has worked. I just get all kinds of errors. We're going to go ahead and do it this way. So this is essentially a two-dimensional array that we've created. I have a array here. I should use this so it's more consistent. Whoops. Okay, so I have an array here, and I'm just going to do it a 2 by 2 instead of 3 by 3. So we have an array that is for our y. So I'm going to go ahead and put a y here, just so you know that this is for y. And inside of our y, we're going to have our x positions. So this is going to be an x position. Oh man, my fingers are locking up like crazy here. Okay, so essentially, we'll go ahead and do indent here. What we have, we're creating a y array, and we're going to put three of these for each of our different ouchie, each of our different grid positions for y. So there will be three different ones. There will be 0 here, there will be 1 here, and there will be 2 here. So inside of our x array, we need 3 positions, which is going to be our different board positions. So there will be whatever we called it in here. What did we call it? Wrong one. Here it is. Oh, wait, let's copy this. Okay, so we got a board position data, and a board position data here. We got one in there. We've got in there, in there. Whoops, that is not where I wanted to put that. And in there. I did that wrong. Take that one out. That doesn't go there. Okay. So you can see that we've essentially created 9 different board data here. And each of these is for each of these, which you can't see because Hammer is bugging out. Okay, so each of these. So we have 9 positions here. So inside of here, this would be 0x, 0y position right there. The next one here is going to be 1x and 0y. So we're just going to keep going boop, 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 all the way through. So the end result is we have a 2-dimensional array with 9 board positions. And that's what we're going to be using. So let's see. I can get rid of this code here because I'm not using it anymore, sadly. I do need a board grid. Whoops. But this isn't going to be a table this time. We'll just set that to null. And in here, board grid is equal to this new player grid. Width and height is going to be grid size. Okay, so we've created our board grid. We've set it up here. Now, let's see. What do we want to do? let's create a function for when we are placing the position. So let's put place on board, and we'll have the team. So we'll either have orange or blue, so it'll tell which team is placing it here. And then we'll have the X and the Y. Actually, let's call it grid. Grid X and grid Y. All right. Let's see. We need to have checks here, but we're not going to put those in just yet because we just want to see if this works properly. Let's go ahead and put in one check here. So we're going to take our board grid and that will have a reference to the column array. So we're going to get the column array. And then we need the index for our column, which is going to be grid X. All right, so essentially, I should not have gotten rid of that. Can I do that? Okay, there we go. Okay, so essentially what we're doing here, board grid column array, that is going to be, or wait a minute, is that X or is that Y? I better make sure I'm right here. I'm still tired. Let's see. I'll just find a place where I referenced instead here. Okay, column array X and row array Y. Now, I suppose it wouldn't matter either way, as long as you remain consistent. But yeah, sure, grid X. All right, so that's going to get the column array, which is that element inside the player grid, which is populated with the array. And each one of these has inside of it one of these things. Excuse me. All right, and so that's going to allow us to get a index to that specific point for inside of here. And from there, we can access the grid rows row array. So this one right here. So now we can get row array grid Y. And instead of doing this over and over, I could just do this. What is it called again? Board position data. Board POS data. All right, and we'll just set this to this. Okay, if board position data, let's see, taken by team is what we got here. We're gonna go ahead and use that. Taken by team is equal to team none. Okay, so let's go through that really quick. What's going on? Okay, we're gonna go into this specific two-dimensional array that we've created here. And we're gonna get a specific board position data, this one right here. Or, well, actually, no, not necessarily this one right here, because we could do, grid X, grid Y position for different ones, obviously. I was just referring to that one as in, like this one. I was going to use it as an example for 0, 0. But anyway, we're going to grab that, put it into here, and then we're going to access it. We're going to access that element inside of it taken by team, and then we're going to see if that is equal to team none, which is -1. So essentially, if this is equal to -1, then we're going to say that no team has taken this spot, so we can continue. All right. Remember, that's a little comment. This isn't required. This is just so we can keep track of what we're doing. Very good to do when you're starting out with programming, to make comments and stuff. I normally don't do it, and I regret it later. So what are we going to do here? You know what? Let's just start out simple. Let's do this. Boom. Board position data, and then taken by team is equal to team. Okay, so what does that do? Well, team is going to be which team is placing this on the board. That's the grid X and the grid Y. So we're getting the grid X, the grid Y. We're going to here and we're seeing if it's been taken by a team. If it hasn't, then we're going to set that it's been taken by this team and put that in there. So this is going to put that, for instance, blue has taken this. All right, because we'll assume that blue fired this. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead, since we don't have like a visual thing yet to show this, I'm gonna put a debug here, so I know to get rid of it later. Blue has taken, and then I'll just put, I guess I could do it this way too. I don't need to make it fancy, but grid X, and then put Y, grid Y. Okay, I'm just essentially concatenating these strings together. This is a string, this is our number, and then this is another string, and then this is another number. So it's basically just concatenating this all together. It's just, you know, putting it all together. It's merged together. All right. So I'm actually not going to put blue. I'm going to put another area here, actually. So this is going to be team. I'm just going to use that for now, so we can look at a number instead of that. I could write a if else and then do it that way, but yeah. All right, else. Print line debug. Let's see. We do it that way? Yeah, I'll do it that way. Okay, team has already taken this spot at do this way. Grid X plus grid Y. Okay. So basically what this is going to do is if this spot is not taken, we'll take the spot by team, and then we'll put a debug message to say it's been taken. Else, if this condition returns false, we're going to say that it's already been taken by either orange or blue, and we'll print this message instead. It will say, whoops, I did not put the right thing there. That does not go there. This goes here. Whoops, no, not cut. Okay. It's a good thing I went through that because I did that wrong. Okay, so debug board position data taken by team has already taken this spot at X, grid X, Y, grid Y. All right. So now, what do we need to do? I'm going to go ahead and put this generate board command inside of this start new game. we'll put the place on board, copy this. We're going to go down here, and we have our debug blue, and we're going to do place on board for team blue. Since this is the event when blue fires on the board, I'm just going to, I was going to copy it, but yeah. Just copy this over and team orange. Okay, so now you see we have team blue for place on board and a team orange for place on board. We're going to go ahead and save this code here. We're going to go in, and I probably did something wrong, so it's probably going to, oh, I almost did it again. Disconnect. Boom. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right, now SS map. Go in. Don't get locked up. Moment of truth. Did I get an error? I kind of hope I did, because I want to show how to fix it if I did, but we'll see. Any errors? No errors? No errors. Oh, well, okay then. Oh, no, now we got an error. The index grid X does not exist. Okay, so now we get to find an error. Okay, it's at position 110 in the call stack. So we're going to go ahead and look at that grid position here. Whoops. Go to position 110. Oh, that's why. I didn't see that. Okay, in this this one, the variable's name is just X instead of grid. Okay. So yeah, you saw that was really simple to go through and see what I did wrong there. Just had to go to the line number it referenced first in that call stack. Usually at the top of the call stack is where your error is going to be. You'll be doing that a lot when you make complex things. And now column array does not exist. Oh, nice. 23. Okay, go to 23. Let's see, board grid. Okay, this might be a little bit more difficult here. Let me look here. Doesn't show on there. I was hoping that it would show the other one, but it just shows the locals. Okay. What's going on here? If column array doesn't exist, oh, I forgot. This needs to be called here, the start new game. So what we want to do, we want to make sure that we put things that we're starting at the very end, because you want to make sure that all of this other stuff had a chance to be created before you do this. So then we'll go ahead and start the new game. All right. So now, hopefully this will work, because I already showed how to go through the call stack. We don't need to do that again. But we're obviously going to be doing that again. Okay. Make sure we got no errors. Nope, we're good. We had an error back there, but that was for the previous. Boom. Okay. Debug 1 has taken x0, y0. So if we hit it again, boom. 1 has already taken this spot at 0, 0. Okay, so now you can see that essentially we've created this spot here is for blue. So if I go ahead and I go here, and I try and choose this spot, you can see it says the same message. 1 has already taken this spot at 0, 0. That means if I take this one it now says 0 has taken excuse me, ouchie. 0 has taken x1, y0. So now, essentially, blue has claimed this spot and orange has claimed this spot. And once claimed, it can no longer be changed. So now we have, inside of here at least, not there because we haven't made our pieces yet, we can see that we have essentially a working game here. We don't have like win conditions, which is very important, but we'll do that later. But we do have a working grid. We can set the position. We can set that the spot is claimed. So what are we going to do next here? Okay, well, we need to have whose team it is. So we could have, whoops, I'm on the wrong keys. Okay, current team, let's do this way. Current team is equal to, I'm just going to put it team none for now. And then I will put, what am I going to do here? Okay, we'll put it inside of here. So current team is equal to team orange. Okay, so what this will do is every time we start this game, we'll set the current team to team orange, and I may just do it randomized. We could do that later. It depends how far I want to go into this. I may do like more tutorials later on this and do more advanced things. Oh man, that hurts. Ugh. Okay, okay, so we set the current team. Now we're going to go into here and we're going to go ahead and make a new check here. Okay, if current team is equal to team, and I'm going to go ahead and put the curly brackets in place already. I'm going to go ahead and hit tab and I'm going to extend these out to keep my indentation aligned. And this is one of the reasons why you want to have smaller text. So, so you can see what's going on here. But basically what this is doing, if current team is equal to team, that means that our players are playing in order. Else, I can just do print line. It is not team. This is gonna be bad grammar, the way I'm writing this, but you know what? Oh well. Turn. Okay. Whoops. Gotta remember the parentheses. Very important. All right, let's go ahead and what do we need? Okay, we need to change the team here. So if, you know what, rather than do that, let's make a new function here, just in case we got to do other things with this. Function, change turn. Whoops. All right, it should be pretty simple. If current team is equal to team orange, then current team is equal to team blue. And then, very important here, we'll need an else. And I'm just going to copy this here. Just got to be careful when you copy things. And this else is very important because we only want either one of these to fire. We don't want both of them to check. And the reason for that is, I'm going to take this out really quick. If we do it this way, let's say that the Excuse me. Actually, this might not be a good example to show that. Now I'm looking at it. No, it should. Oh yeah, I didn't change it yet. That's why. Okay, I was looking at that like. Okay, there we go. Okay, so is basically this is inverted from this. So if it's orange, change to blue, and if it's this one, blue, change to team orange. But see, the way that this would work if we don't have that else there, we get to team orange and we set to blue, and then we'd run this. Current team is equal to team blue, so we set it to orange. So we've essentially just set this back to team orange. So very important, you want to have an else here. And I'm going to go ahead and take this function that we created and put this right here. Boom. Alrighty, go ahead and save that and go back into the game and disconnect and smap. Okay, so in this, orange will have to go first. So we'll go over here. And I don't know why I am not just using a portal. Oh, that's why. I can't put a portal on that surface. Okay, so if I try and choose while it's orange's turn, you can see it says it is not team 1 turn. Terrible grammar, but you know what? It shows what we need. Okay, so team 1 is blue and team 0 is orange, so we'll go ahead and set this back to orange. And orange can place something right here. And you can see that 0 has taken that position. So now if I try and go again, you can see it is not team 0 turn. Alright, so now it's blue's turn. Now blue can try and choose the same spot here, and you can see it's already taken. We'll go ahead and take this spot. Alright, debug 1 has taken 2x, 0y. So you can see that we could play this through and just keep going back and forth turns and all that. So we have that set up now. We have team turns. What do we need? Well, obviously we need a visual representation, so we're going to need pieces to show the board. So I think we're going to do that next. Let me think here. Yeah, we'll do that next, I think. Okay, this is about to get more complicated. All right, so excuse me. We need essentially the same size as this. Will work. And I don't know what I'm going to use for texture. Whoops. Let's just use this for now. Okay. Create object. And this isn't going to be right here. This is actually going to be somewhere else. Because the thing about Portal 2 is creating entities doesn't really work very well. Basically, they create the entity and then you can change it, but some entities you can't change things after they're already dispatched into the game, so it's kind of not useful. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and change just this side of the face, and we need something for X and something for Y. For X and Y. For X and circle. I don't know what we're gonna use. I probably should have found out what we're gonna use before I did this, rather than searching through every single texture. We could also make our own texture, but that gets more complicated. Because we gotta use GIMP, and I don't. Ah, sorry about that. Oh, that stings. I am not having a good time right now. Let's see. We got to be careful about using these things here because the different VMT settings can make them look really weird when you try and use them. Ooh, I could use these. I mean, they're not X's and they're not X's and circles, but they are orange and blue, and that's essentially what we need. Now the question is, if I apply this, it doesn't show up properly. Of course it doesn't. Why would it? Okay. I do kind of like that though, so I may just like make a simple VMT file for it. But I kind of wanted to keep this simple, something you could just do without another guide on how to do this. Well, you know what? I'm just thinking about making it look pretty, but we don't need to make it look pretty. We just need orange, and we need a blue. So this is going to be orange. Whoops. Does that look orange though? Let me hide the mask. Kinda? I think we can find something a bit more orange than that. Let's try something. Orange, orange, orange. Ah, here we are. What about this? What does this look like? It's see-through. Of course it is. Okay. This shouldn't be see-through. I lied. It's see-through. These are probably decals then or something. Okay, I should have just kept what I had. Should have just kept what I had. Wait, what about that? Ooh, this. Oh, this and this. That might work. The question is, can I use them? I think I can. What does that look like? Okay, you know what? That's gonna work. It's not X's and it's not O's, but we can worry about the visuals later. We just need something to reference. We can make it look pretty later. All right. Texture scale, we need to increase this by double the amount. So we're going to increase this to the 0.5. Apply it. And we need to do a texture shift here because this thing did not align this properly. Perfect. Okay. Apply that. And it's actually backwards, but you know what? We're going to roll with it. Okay, so this is going to be what we'll use for our orange. And I'm going to go ahead and create another one here. And just do paste special. Boom. And now we need to make one for blue. Alrighty. This one looks kind of cool, actually. I don't know if we can use it because it might not show properly, but it looks like it might actually. We just got to align it. Oh, perfect. Look at that. That is a perfect X. If only we could find a perfect circle. Okay, so this is going to be our blue because that is just perfect. Now, what I'd like to do is put these in an area that isn't seen by the player. I don't like doing it this way, I lied. But for Portal, you kind of have to. Unless if you're going to just like hide them, which I suppose you could do that as well, but I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a little space here. And we'll just get a random texture here. Oh wait, I gotta make sure that's, oh, that's way too small. It's a good thing I checked that. Okay, put that right there. We'll extend it out of that ways too. All right, create object. Now we need to do a hollow out. You're normally not supposed to do it like this, but I'm not making this map to be, like, that is way too big. Let's undo that. I didn't realize it was that big. Okay, hollow out. Boom. All right. That's still pretty big, but you know what? I don't care. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go over here. Oh, I gotta select the right one here. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna hold down Control, select both of those. I'm gonna put 2 right here. Where's the other one? Where'd it go? They're both selected. Copy. Control V, paste. There it goes. Okay. Oh, that might actually be kind of see-through. Maybe not. No, it's not. Okay. So I'm just gonna use these as like a template reference in case we want to like change it later. I'm gonna go ahead and copy. I will do it one at a time actually. Okay, so copy this over here. Boom. All right, I'm gonna do Control T. We need to make this into a func brush because we need to be able to change the position of it. And I'm going to name this blue. I typed blue and it turned to blue. How am I going to do this here? I think we'll just call it blue piece. Blue piece. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and go to this one. Yeah, we'll go to this one. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and copy, go into paste special, and we are going to go along the y-axis, I believe. So let's go ahead and, okay, it says it's 64, so sure, 64. Times to paste. Well, we do not need to fill the whole board because it's impossible to have 9 if you're playing tic-tac-toe. So how many can we actually have here? For, whoops, that's what I was trying to do. I think probably, yeah, like half the board basically. So we should be safe with 5. All right, yeah, we'll do 5. Okay, so make sure that this isn't checked. Make sure that that's not checked. Start center of original. 5 copies to paste. Oh wait, we already have one, so actually let's subtract 1. So 4 copies to paste. It's actually not the axis I wanted to make that on. You know what, we'll redo it. Instead of the y-axis, that's the x-axis apparently. Boom, there we go. Okay, so what have we done here? Well, we've created copies of these that we can use on the board. And what we're going to use is the name that we've named this entity, blue piece. And we're going to look through our entities and find every single piece that is a blue piece. And we're going to use that as reference. So, I did that. Now I just need to do this again with the orange. Copy this over here. I guess we'll just put it here. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Control T, function or func brush, apply, name, orange piece, apply. Okay, we got that set up. Close that out. Copy, paste special. Same thing as we did before. Boom. Now we have 5 pieces for orange and 5 pieces for blue. All right. Now this is going to get more complex. We're going to go ahead and go back to our tic-tac-toe here. Make sure we don't have another copy open. We do not. Okay. And we need a function that can get all of the different pieces here for our entities. So I'm going to go ahead and create board pieces blue. Actually, let's put ent at the end here so we know that this is the entities. And we'll create that as an array. And then board pieces orange ent. Okay. So basically what these are going to store is all 5 of those pieces. It's going to store essentially that entity's index, so we can call to that entity, change its position, all that. All right, so what do we need? We need a new function. Doesn't really matter where we put it. Let's call this link, whoops, board pieces. All right. And I'm going to go ahead, before I forget, copy this. And I will put this, let's see. We only need to do this once. So rather than putting that inside of the start new game, I'm just going to put this here. We only need to link the board pieces once. So after we do that, as soon as this loads up our script, it will run this code here. So that's already done. And I'm going to go ahead and open up checkers here and reference how I did it here, just to show you. And to make this faster, because I don't want to have to redo all this stuff again. All right. Where would be what I'm looking for? That's actually the problem with the way that I do this, which is one file. it's better to have like multiple files and just, you know, like link them together. Mainly the reason I do one file is because I like to make lots of backup copies now. I lost 8,000 lines of code one time, and after that, like I saved it, but the program that I was using, Notepad++, it corrupted and I lost it. It was just gone, completely gone, and I was like, oh well, that happened. So yeah, I just trying to see here. You know what? I think we might just do by name. I don't know. I don't really like using by name. Like I like to have a specific class name that I'm referencing first, and then check the name. You know what? Screw it. Let's do it this way. I'm not going to copy it though. Okay, here's what we'll do. This is going to show some more advanced things with things we can do with entities. Okay, so I'm going to create a local entity. It's equal to entities first. Okay, now what does this do? Okay, so entities is a vscripts class that we can basically access inside of the game itself. And this dot first, this first is a method inside of here. So what does first do? Well, we have a huge list of entities that shows, you know, like pretty much everything you can see and everything you can't see. So this will basically go from the very first entity in the game and set that to our point. All right, so next I'm going to do a while loop, and remember a while loop works the same as a conditional if statement that loops. So I'm going to put while entity is not equal to null. Now what does that do? Well, this is going to set entity to the very first entity here that we have in the game. That's going to set that to here. We're going to check that to see if this is null or not. And null means if this is has anything inside of it. So if it's empty, it doesn't have any value, it's considered a null value. So while entity is not equal to null, meaning that this entity has to be a valid entity reference here, we go in here, and if entity, I actually don't know why I put not equal to null there, because that's kind of pointless. I'm probably going to remove that. Okay, if entity is valid, this basically checks to see if it's like a valid entity that we can use. It's not about to be removed or anything like that. So we have that. Now I'm going to do a, I'm going to do it a little bit separately here. I'm going to do class name is equal to entity dot class name. Now what does this do? Well, the entity that we currently have, it has different properties, little elements that we can access as well. And one of those is a method class name. Actually, wait, no, it's not class name. What am I doing? It's get class name. And this basically gets the class name for that entity object. So the class name is this func brush right here. So what we'll be doing in this script is we'll get a class name, it's going to turn that into a string, and now class name is a string type. We're going to go down here. If class name is equal to func brush, so basically it's going to check to see if the class name is a type of func brush, which is the checks I like to do to make sure that it's the right thing here. Let's see. Yeah, we'll do it that way. We'll just put both of them in. We'll check the name of both of them and then do it that way. Yeah, that'll work. All right, so here's what we'll do. We're gonna go ahead and get a new local ent name is equal to entity.get name, and this is going to get the target name of the entity here. So this name right here, orange piece here, it appears as target name, orange piece, for the key value, but the smart edit just says name. So that's going to get the target name, and it's going to put that in here. So ent name is this new string here. We'll go ahead and do if ent name is equal to orange piece, piece, then this is going to be orange, and we're going to put it inside of this one. Excuse me. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and use a push. Now, this goes into push and pop. A push means we're pushing it into an array. We're just like putting it on top. So like think of like you have a stack of plates. You put a plate up on the top. That's a push. And if you do a pop, that's taking a plate off the top of the stack. All right, so we're going to do a push, and we're going to push in entity. And what this is basically doing is we're pushing a new value onto this array that is going to be this orange piece entity. All right, and then we're going to put else if ent name is equal to blue piece. Then I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. Sometimes you can copy stuff, sometimes you can't. It's better to type it, but I'm lazy right now, so hopefully this doesn't come back to bite me. Okay, so we have board pieces orange ent push and board pieces blue ent push. All right, so if it's an orange piece, we'll push it into there, and if it's a blue, we'll push it into there. So now we should have a list of our orange pieces and our list of our blue pieces that we can use in our code for calling them. So really quickly here, save that. And let's see, what am I going to need here? I'm missing something. Oh, I know what I'm missing. We need a reference point for the starting point of our grid. And to do that, I'm just going to create another little info target here. Whoops. Info target. And I will call this board marker. Apply. And inside the flags, I'm going to transmit to client. Don't think I need to do that in this case, but I like to do that when I'm referencing things with positions. Okay, so now we need to set this position, and this position should be aligned exactly with that, and we need to be aligned directly with that. So let's go ahead and zoom in here. We're close. I got it close. Okay, so boom. we're exactly aligned with that, and exactly aligned with that. Now this is going to be our position that we're going to use when we get the actual positions to set these pieces to. So these ones here, these are just going to be like regular brushes. These haven't been turned to entities, so those are just going to sit there for now, doing nothing. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and find, here it is, board marker end, this right here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add that in as well. Board marker ent is equal to null. And I'm going to create a new function. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll just put it inside the link board pieces. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Okay, this function here, entities find by name. We're going to copy that. Well, actually, no, we're not going to copy it. You know what? We will make a new function, just to keep it separate. All right, get board marker. Board marker ent. It actually doesn't need to use that one. It can just use this one here. Entities find by name null. This is basically telling it this is where we want to start as far as where we're at in the entities, so we can get the next entity. And then I'm going to use, what did I call it? Board marker? I think I called it board marker. What is your name, guy? Yep, board marker. Okay. So what is this going to do? Well, this is going to go in and it's going to find the very first instance of board marker. Since there's only one, we don't need to do a loop. Just go in and grab this one thing and put it into our variable here for use later. I forgot something in here. What did I forget in here? I'm looking at this and this doesn't look right. Oh, I know what I did. Okay. One more very important thing to make this work properly is we need to change the entity to the entities next. So if I remember right, oops, entities, is it next? I may not have that right. I'm going to look that up really quick here just to make sure I'm doing this right. Entities next. Yeah, I did it right. Okay. Okay, so what this is going to do is this is going to get where we were currently at. It's going to get the entity after that one. So we get the first entity here, we go through, we check it, and then we're going to get the entity after this one. So then it will get the next entity after that. It will come around and loop this again, check to see if it's a null value. And then it will run through the code and go through here, and it'll keep going through this until it gets through every single entity, and then we'll leave the loop. All right. So now we have our get board marker. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that, and we'll put it down here because we need to call that when the game runs. We don't, or when the map starts, not when the we start the new game. Okay, what are we going to do? I'm just trying to think of steps I want to do here. It's important in programming to decide what you're going to do before you do it, rather than write a whole bunch of code then realize you got to do it a different way. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to place the actual pieces onto the board. So I think what we're gonna need, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna create a new class here. Let's see, tictactoe globals, classes dot okay, we'll call this game game piece data. Yeah, we'll do it that way. Okay, so what this is going to do is, I don't think it needs to take anything inside the constructor. We're going to check to see if this is in use. So I'm going to do b, lowercase b, lowercase in use, equal to null. And what this is going to do, we're going to basically use this to check and see if this game data's piece is in use. So like, we're going to go through our list of entities and we're going to put each of them into one of these. And just trying to think. You know, if I was going to do it this way, I should have put the other. Oh well. You know what? Screw it. This isn't going to be optimized, but it's going to work. Let's see. We're going to call this ent. So we're going to get the entity, and we're going to get if it's in use. All right. So in here, really quick, I do need to actually call entity then. And ent is going to be equal to entity here, and b in use is equal to false. And I think that might work. You know what? I think I'm going to do it the other way anyway. I'm going to have to redo this, but we'll just do this. Instead of putting ent at the end, I put ent when I'm usually referencing the fact that this is going to be linked to an entity. But now that I'm going to do that, I'm going to change the name so I don't confuse myself. And inside of here, instead of pushing the entity, I'm going to actually push the game piece data here. So go back up here, and you can see that we put this inside of here. Boom. So now we're putting the entity inside of this class, and then we're pushing the class instead of just the entity. And what this is going to allow us to do is we'll just have a array for the blue pieces and the orange pieces, and a reference that can say if it's in use or not. And if it's in use, then we can place it somewhere, and if it's not, then we can't. Okay, so we got that. Now I need a function for finding a free piece. So whoops. So we're going to do function find free game piece team. I don't think we need anything other than team actually. Okay, so here's what we'll do. If team is equal to team orange, then we're going to, whoops, I forgot to take this end off. I'm going to do that. Okay. We're going to look inside of board pieces orange. Copy. Okay. And there's different ways we could do this. We could do a for each and just put an index. And I think I will do it that way actually. Just try and keep it simple. Oops. Index is equal to 0. Actually, I don't think we need to even do it that way. Now let's just do the for each. We'll do the for each. We'll keep it simple. Simple, simple. All right. We'll just call it piece in board pieces orange. Go ahead and cut that out. Put that up here. Boom. Okay, so this is going to go through our actually call it piece data. For piece data in board pieces orange. Okay, so this is going to get each piece data class in each one of these areas. And I can do if piece data B is used. Is it used? Hold on, let me make sure that this is right. Be in use. Be in use. Okay. Okay, and this is actually going to do the opposite we want because we want to get a piece that is free. So we want to put the inverter here. So we're saying if it's in use, if it's true, we're going to invert that value to false before we print it in here. So we're essentially saying if the piece data is not in use, then we'll go into here. All right, so we got that. Now we'll do a return, and we'll return the piece data. Okay, so this will essentially keep going through here until we find a piece data that is not in use, and we'll return that as the output here. And I'm going to go ahead and copy this. I'm just going to put an else if here. Kind of unnecessary for this specific area, but you know what? We'll keep it consistent. All right, team blue. And then instead of orange pieces, blue pieces. Boom. Because both of these are going to use the same thing. They just need to access the right array. All right. So now we have a function to find our free game piece. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And let's make a new function called add game piece team. And grid X and grid Y. Okay, so this is going to get a bit more complicated because now we need to actually place it onto the board, and we can't use the grid X and the grid Y to place it on the board because we need to use the real world position for all of that. So we're going to be doing that as well. So first, if team is equal to team orange, actually, I don't even think I need to do it that way, do I? I don't think I do. I think I can just do it this way. So let's just get game piece. Actually, let's call it new piece. New piece is equal to find free game piece for team. All right, so this should put a piece that is free in here, unless if it can't find one, in which case this is null. So we'd have to account for that, but I shouldn't have to worry about all of that since this is actually, just a 9 grid area, like 9 possible positions we could put it. So we shouldn't possibly go longer, uh, with putting more pieces than we can actually possibly put. So we'll go ahead and do, what are we going to do here? Okay, new piece dot be in use is equal to true. Now what's this going to do? Well, the game piece data that we're accessing, remember when we were in that loop, we're checking to see if the value is equal to false, if we can use it. Well, now we don't want to use that again because we want to tell the game that we're using it now. So we wanted to find a different one. So we're going to be setting this value to true now to say that it's in use. So now when we hit this find free game pieces function, the piece data is going to be in use true. So since it's true, we're going to invert that value with the inverter, which is going to change this to false. So essentially, we're going to go through this and say, hey, nope, that one's in use. We're going to skip past it. We're going to go back in here. We're going to find the next one here and see if that one's in use. Boom. And so we're just going to keep going to find a free game piece that we can use for that. All right. So go ahead and move on here. What do we need? Okay, so we've found a free game piece. We got the variable for it. We've set it that it's in use, so we won't try and use it again. Good. Now what do we need? Okay. I think now we're just about ready to set the position. All right. So here's what we will do. This board marker ent here, we're going to create a vector with it. So I'm going to do get origin, get origin, and this is going to create a vector here. So I'm going to do a local board position, and this is going to put the real world position into this variable here, and we're going to use that to offset using our X and Y on the it's either the X and the Z or the Y and the Z axis. We'll have to do some testing. So we'll go ahead and think about what we're going to do here. Okay. The origin is right in the middle, so it'll have to be aligned of 64, I believe, for an offset. Yeah, okay, so let's give this a shot. Okay, so I'm just going to call this offset position, and this is going to be equal to new vector type here, and a vector is going to have a X, a Y, and a Z for positions in a float value. So I can go ahead and do board position X, board position Y, and board position Z. So now we are essentially creating a new vector with exactly the same value as this. And we are going to, let's see, we're going to start off with the X value first for our grid X, and then we'll work on the other one once we get that aligned. So we'll do this one at a time. So offset position, what is it going to be? It's either X or it's Y. We'll try X. Okay, so X, and we're gonna do plus equal to I think it's 64. I'm gonna have to check to see the exact size, but essentially the 64 is gonna be like our spacing here. So from like here to here sort of deal. Whoops. You know, I could just check it really quick while I'm in here anyway. 64. Okay, yep, 64. Okay, so 64 is going to be multiplied by grid X. Now, what is happening here? Well, we're essentially using a same trick that the computer uses to search an array that's has specific sizes. So we're going to start out here, and if it's grid X 0, it's 64 multiplied by 0, and obviously that's 0, so that would be this position exactly right here. Okay, and I want it to be in the middle here, so I'm actually going to either do a plus 32 or a negative 32, but I want to see exactly where we're aligned before we add that in. And then once we get that, we're going to add the Y. And so instead of being up here, we'll be down here in the middle for both of them. We'll go ahead and get this all aligned one at a time because that's easier. I think we'll go with that. And this will either be a plus equal or minus equal. And this will be either the x-axis or the y-axis. So, fun. We'll figure this out. Okay, so new piece, int dot set origin is going to be offset position, and this code is nowhere near done, but we are going to go ahead and go into the game and test this by putting this into here. Okay, so grid X and grid Y, that doesn't need to be changed. That's all good. Boom. Okay, now we're going to save this. We're going to find out how many errors we've got. Hopefully none. But this is programming, so it's very picky. Very picky. Alrighty. I should have gone over here to see if we have any errors. Oh, we do. An error has occurred, script terminated by query suspend. Okay, so what this means when it says SQ query suspend, it essentially means that it put it in a loop and it took too long to perform the code, so it cut it off and just counted it as being an error, and it says that's at line 70. So essentially what that's telling me is I messed up and I created an infinite loop. And I did that because I forgot to put this. Whoops. Okay, so basically what this does, this gets the next entity after this one here, and then it takes that entity and we put it inside here and replace this entity, and then we loop it. So essentially the reason I was stuck here is I was infinitely just looping through the first entity. Okay, so yeah, another mistake, but good to know what query suspend is, because most people, when they see that, they're gonna be like, what does this even mean? They could have put like code maybe stuck in an infinite loop or something like that, because that would have been more easy to understand for people, but they were just like, hey, let's confuse everyone. Okay, so now we find out that we have an error in this part here. Actually, I didn't even check to see if we have any more errors. Nope, we're good. All right, here we go. Boom. Okay, we placed it, and we got another error. Be in use does not exist. Oh no. What did I do now? Okay, at 57. Okay, go to 57. New piece in use does not exist. Now wait a minute, is new piece null maybe? Oh, new piece is null. Okay, so we never actually found. Oh, you know why we never found it? Okay. Very important thing that we forgot to do is compile it and generate these new pieces into the game. Okay. So the reason it ran into an error there is because I didn't actually put those game pieces. They don't exist. Now they should exist. Hopefully. There it goes. Okay, so you can see that our position here is aligned exactly at that 0, 0 position there. And then, hopefully, if I switch to this character, it should be on the right axis, but it may not be. If this doesn't appear right there, then we got to change it. Nope, we are going backwards. Okay, that's simple enough to fix. So that means that instead of plus, we're going negative for this. So all we got to do is go into here, tictactoe, and minus equal. And now that we know that, you know what, we'll wait on that actually. I was going to align the 32 to put it in the middle, but we'll do that in just a minute. Let's make sure that this is exactly right where we want it, and then we'll move it. Make sure our shifts are exactly right. All right. I probably should have used a material that I can actually shoot portals onto. Because walking over here is kind of annoying. Okay, so we'll put that there, boom. And then moment of truth. Boom, perfect. Now you see it's not aligned with that. It's aligned with this, so remember it's aligned with that position right there. Okay. So which way do we need to shift here? If we're going that way, we're going negative. That should be. I should be able to think of this, but I can't think right now. Okay, you know, we'll just do tests and see here. We'll do a plus 32. Whoops. Plus 32, and we'll see if that shifts it the right direction. All right, back here. Moment of truth. Okay, we're going the wrong direction, so we're going to go in exactly the opposite direction. Minus 32. Boom. Save. All right. Disconnect. Remind me to change the floor to something we launch the next time we go into the map editor. Okay, boom, perfect. That is exactly what we want. Okay, so now we're completely aligned with the x-axis. And if I do this, still see. We can do this, boom, and then this, boom, and this is where it's going to completely look wrong because we have not aligned the y-axis yet. It is blue's turn, right? Yeah, blue. So when I do this, it's not going to put this right here. It's going to put it up there. So boom, right there. Okay, so that's exactly what we expected. All right. Excuse me. Ouchie. Okay, so now that we've aligned it on our x-axis, we can align it on the z-axis, which is up and down. Right here. Okay. So offset position z. Let's see. It's going to be going down. So minus equal 64 multiplied by grid y. And then the offset position for z will be plus equal to 32. All right. Yeah, let's do it this way so they're lined up nice and pretty. Okay. Go ahead and disconnect and go back into our map. Come over here again. This would be faster if I just do the set position. But oh well. Okay, alright, so now we should be able to put this right here. Game. I just said put it right there, not right there. Did I mess up? Maybe I messed up. Hold on. Let me see what this does. Oh, I went the wrong way. Whoops. I went the wrong way. How did I go the wrong way? Okay, you know what? Let's take this out. I've somehow managed to confuse myself here. Okay. You here, and you can actually bind these to your numpad keys, which is much easier. Actually, I think I have bound to my num keys. Do I? Oh, I do. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay. So yeah, we're I guess we're shifting plus Z. That feels backwards. Why does that feel backwards? Yo, we're not going to question it. So plus equal to 32. I'm trying to understand how that could possibly be right, but if the game thinks it's right, whatever. Alright. Did I accidentally put plus equals before? Hold on. Maybe I put plus equals before. I think that might be what I did. Instead of putting minus equals, I think I put plus equals. There it goes. Okay, so now you can see perfectly aligned with the board. Now, rather than do that, let's just do this. Now I can put boom, X, switch to U, whoops, switch to U, boom, and then this person doesn't know what he's doing, so he goes boom, and then this person goes boom, and you win, but the game has no idea you won, and so now we can go like this, and the other person's like, wait, I won, and the game's like, nope, don't know what that is. So next, we are going to be programming the backend conditions for the win conditions. So what do we need to check here? Well, we need to check each one of these areas here to see if those are all the same team. We need to run a check to see if those are the same team. And then we need to run a check to see if these are the same team. And if any of those conditions are true, then we can go ahead and say, okay, this person won. All right, so that's what we're going to be doing next. And this is going to get complicated, peeps. All right. So, there's no one right way to do programming. So we are going to experiment. I never got to this part before recording crashed, so we are doing this all from scratch here. Okay, first we need to think about what we need to do. Let's go ahead. Yeah, let's do it that way. Okay, so we're just going to do it the way that I said here, where we're going to go boop, 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 and then we'll increase our y index, and then boop, 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 and then increase y index, boop, boop, boop. So very first thing we're going to check is to see if any of them are across. All right, so we'll do a new function, CheckWinConditions, and inside of here, let's see, let's go ahead and do indexX is equal to 0. Actually, wait, no, hold on. No, indexY. We'll do indexY. IndexY is equal to 0. While indexY is smaller than grid size, then indexY plus equal to 1. Okay. And then inside of here, local index x equal to 0. Whoops. While index x is smaller than grid size. Oops. All right. And remember to put index x plus equal to 1. All right, so this is our very first check. And I forgot exactly how our grid position thingamajig works here. So I'm just going to go ahead and look really quick. Okay. Boom. All right, let's just copy this. Copy you and bring you up here. Alrighty, local board position data. It's going to go into our board grid and get position at X and Y. We already know that works. And we're going to change this grid X to say index X. And this is going to be index Y. Alrighty. And what are we going to do here? Actually, I think I might try and optimize this a bit. We'll put this at index 1, and then we'll put owning team is equal to, that means I gotta put this out here though. Oh well, we can do that too. Okay. Board position data, owning team is equal to, what was it called again? Owned by team? Taken by team. Okay, taken by team. Taken by team. Okay, so what's that going to do? This is going to get, for instance, 0, 0 here. We're going to check see if it's, or who it's taken by. It's orange, so it's going to set owning team to orange. And then we're going to go into here. And we're going to go ahead and check the rest of these. And I'm going to check to see. Actually, rather than do owning team, I could just do it this way. Let's just do it this way. We'll set this to starting board position data. And then we're going to go ahead and copy this again here, inside of here, local, and we're going to create a new one here. Okay, so this is going to be the one that we start at and we compare against, because we need to check to see if this one is the same as this team and this one's the same as this team. So we could, we could do, is this one the same as this one, and is this one the same as this one? We could do it that way, but there's no real need to. It would just be extra work that we need to put in, and yeah, we don't need to do it. So we're gonna just do it this way. All right. So if board position data dot, oh no, I forgot what it is again. It's taken by team is equal to the starting board position data dot taken by team. And I also forgot that it needs to make sure that it checks to make sure that the team none isn't included in this. So we'll have to put a check for that. Otherwise, the first turn after it goes, team none is going to immediately win by this condition, or depending on where the free slots are. Pretty much guaranteed after the first turn, team none would win. So we'd have to put a check to make sure that team none isn't going to win. So we'll have to remember to do that. All right, so what are we going to do? Inside of here, let me think. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a array, and I'm going to have a thing for like a win condition, and then yeah. Yeah, so basically it will go through and we can mark the winning position. Because if I do that, then later on I can make like a fancy highlight for the board, like I did in the checkers game. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. We'll see. We'll see. It looks kind of cool on the checkers game, and so it probably would look pretty cool here. but I don't know how far we're going to go into this as far as making this like, you know, fancy. Like if you want to make it look fancy by yourself, you could do that. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where we're at. But yeah, let's go ahead and put a check here. Local b is valid when is equal to let's put it to false, and then here is valid when is equal to true. Actually, wait, no, we should do it the other way. Actually, is not taken by the same team. Then valid when is false. Yeah, so we'll make it so is valid when it starts out at true, and then when we get in here and we check this and it's not the same, then we're going to say that this is not a valid when. So I can go ahead and put do I want to do it that way? No, let's do it. We'll use a break. We haven't gone over breaks, but basically a break, when we're in a loop, we can perform a break and it will immediately leave that specific loop that we're inside. If we're in two loops, it doesn't leave this loop. It would just leave this loop and go down to here and run the next thing. So that's what we're going to do with that. And after this, we're going to have a check if b is valid when, then I'm going to go ahead and just return true for now rather than do anything else. Okay, really quickly, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick check here. If starting board position data dot taken by team is equal to, team none, then we're going to say continue. Now, what does continue do? Well, continue is kind of similar to the break, but a continue is going to say, hey, we're just going to leave this and we're going to go on to the next one here. But if we do that, we have to remember to increment the index here. So like what we would have done here, if we do continue here, this will immediately get go past all of this and loop around to the beginning. So since this is in there, we have to make sure that we put this in here before we do continue to increment it. Otherwise, we'll be stuck in an infinite loop. Okay, so we got that done. Now we can't accidentally win after the first turn by neither of the teams winning. We got that good. And now this should successfully check every single one of these horizontal positions here. And we're going to go ahead and test these one at a time to make sure that this works here. Copy this, and we'll go to our actually it's the place board place on board command here. So we'll do if CheckWinConditions is true, then we're just going to say for now print line player it would be player team has won. Boom. Okay, so I'll go ahead and save this, And now we get to have fun by, come on, disconnect. Where's my disconnect? Screw it, I'll type disconnect again. All right. You know what I could also do? I could also just no clip over there. I didn't know why. Why didn't I think of that? No clip. Boom. Okay. You here. Set position to this one. And no clip. Boom. Okay. Now I'm going to test orange winning in this area here. So blue is going to completely stay out of... Uh-oh. I broke it. I broke it, peeps. The indexX does not exist at line 79. Okay. Oh. Oh, that's why. That has to be 0 then, right? Because it'd be the starting point. Yeah, yeah, so it'd have to be the starting point. Okay. I do not envy the person trying to follow along with this code. It's like, oh, we get to change it again. But that's part of programming, so. And I walked over here. Why did I walk over here? I was saying, hey, let's no clip because that's faster, and then I was like, hey, you know what? Let's walk anyways. Okay, so now we're back to no errors. Good. I'm gonna go ahead and stay out of this area for you, so I'm just gonna put you here. Boom. And then orange is this one. Boom. Put that there. So far, no win conditions, and that is exactly what we wanted. Put that there. Boom. Still no win conditions. And boom. As you can see, player 0 has 1. Player 0 is orange. Good. But the game does not end because we haven't set it to restart or to like show, you know, the player 1. So we're gonna go ahead and switch to blue, I guess, and it should now say that player 0 has won. So, boom. Or wait, no, player 1 has won. That's right, 1 is blue. So now we have our win conditions, and it will detect you know, who won on that specific turn. Now, if I play as orange here, since we don't have it set to end the game, it's going to say that I won the game again. Because that's we have it set for whoever's turn it is the person who will win. So then that will just keep going back and forth, even though orange won already. All right, so we have that set to work for horizontal position. Good. Now, next, we're going to do the vertical position. So we'll start out on x0 and we'll go down y, x1 go down, excuse me, x0 go down y, x0 go down y. Okay, so I said that backwards, didn't I? That probably sounded very confusing. I'm going to say that again. Okay, so we started at x0 and go down y, x1 go down y, and x2 go down y. Yeah, that's right. I think I said it right the first time and then I corrected myself. Okay. All right, so we could copy this code and just make changes to it. The risk of that is that you may accidentally mess up, but I'm going to take that risk because don't we love errors? Okay, so very important here. We've created this indexY. Need to change it back to 0 if we're going to use it. I have to think here. Actually, you know what? We should just put this. We'll create this out here. Set it to 0. And then here, instead of calling local, we'll just use this one. Because we're going to be going back and forth here, and I don't want to do that way. I just want to remain consistent here. So set this to 0 again. Whoops, and set this to 0. Even though they're not both used for each case for that, we'll just keep it consistent. All right. So now, let's look at this and see what we would need to change. Well, instead of going down the Y, we're going to be going down the X. So this would have to be changed to X. All right, so instead of going on the Y before, we'll be going on the X. So this is now going to be indexX, and this is going to be 0 for our starting point. Let's see, if starting board position data dot taken by team none. Let's see, this would be an increment of X. This would be an increment of Y. These remain index X and Y. And this will be changed to a Y, and this will be changed to a Y. See, that's one of the things is you need to be really careful if you copy your code. You're going to make sure that every single instance is right. And if it's not, then you will not get your result. So that's why it's good to redo it completely from scratch and write it out, but sometimes you just feel a little lazy. Yeah. Sometimes you've already done this before. Not this specifically, but tried to do this tutorial before and you got screwed by crashing video software. So far it hasn't crashed, which is good. I'm going to cry if this crashes at the end. Okay, index X, index Y. It looks like we are good. Yeah, I'm going to say that that's good. Okay, so now this one is going to check our Y instead of our X. Like basically we're going to go the opposite direction of what we did before. So while index X is smaller than grid size, we're going to go into here. And we're going to start here, check these, then we'll go here, check these, and go here and check these. All right, so that will allow us to check our vertical, and we'll go ahead and save the, whoops. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna put here print, excuse me, ouch. Print line debug. Actually, I don't even need to do that. We'll just do across. Okay, so this is if it's a win by across. And then I'll just copy this and put this down here. And this is win by. Okay, peeps, so I am very sad. My video, it it broke. Not the whole video, but it's like I got to the point where I did win conditions, and I was about to do this part here. I don't really want to write it all over again. And I don't remember what all I did. I added some extra things and stuff. Clean board pieces and all that. But I'm going to try. I don't really want to rewrite the code. Oh man, I mean, I guess I should be happy I didn't lose the whole video. But, this is now the third time. Okay, okay, so let's go through what we got here. What I did here before I crashed, this is the debug across, which I was going to do for the win condition sort of deal to show that it won by a cross, and that is actually not in the right place. It's actually supposed to go here, because if I put it in this area here, this would just basically repeat twice because it's checking the different positions. It loops to check and see if it's still valid. So that one goes there, and then this one goes in here. And also, I realized, I don't remember if I realized before or after the recording crashed, but my X and my Y are backwards in my two-dimensional array, which is fine because this is just basically a like it's kind of hard to explain. Like, even if it's backwards in the dimensional, it can work if it is set completely inverted, because it will just work backwards but the same way, if that makes sense. Which is fine because they're both the same condition. So down here, rather than do another while loop, I just decided to get 0, 0 for 0 x 0 y, which is this position here. I check to make sure that the team is not equal to none. That makes sure that we're checking for a valid team piece. And then we take that team and we check to see if it is equal to excuse me, this position here. So if this is orange and this is orange, that's fine. And I also showed this amperand. However you pronounce that. It basically means that it's an and statement. So like this conditional statement has to be met, and this conditional statement has to be met for this to pass through. And this one, essentially it checks again to see, this is orange obviously, and it checks to see against 2, 2, which is this one. And we essentially do the same thing this way, and then we do the same thing this way. So rather than do a while loop for that one, we can just go boop and boop, since it's just two simple ones. And we can do that really quick. And if it's the case, then we do a return true. And I could, if I wanted to, I could just put this in here too, win by diagonal. Copy, boom. Okay, so that would work for that. And I don't remember where I went from there because the video doesn't work. Okay, what did I do after that? I confirmed. Let's go into here. Okay, so I confirmed that the board works. I'll show that really quick here, since that's part that's dead on the video. Why did I do that? You know what? I'm gonna use this. I actually added this as well. It resets the board. Nice. So I'll show that as well, I guess. Blue. We'll just put this here. Orange, right here. X, we'll just put that right there. Orange, right there. Boom. Player 0 has 1. Perfect. And it shows a little message. Orange has 1. We'll show how to do that later as well. And then I can go ahead and reset this. And we can show it goes this way too. So I'll just put that there. And I can go put that there. and then put that there, and that there, that there, and then that there. Blue has one. So now you see that it does the diagonal conditions as well. So moving on, we got the win conditions, and I can't remember what I did after that. I know I did this. This is a new variable that I added. It basically gets a vector position inside of here that goes to where is it? Over here. So it basically just grabs this position right here. So it'll just move the things back here when we're done with them. So we use that as the reference. I added this be game one that we can use to check. Let's see, inside of our place on board. So basically, I put if we win, then this show HUD text is orange is one, blah blah blah, and then we set this to true. So then the next time we go into this, if this is true, then we'll do this, which is return, and this basically just leaves this function completely. It won't run any of that code. So we can just tell it to immediately go poof and leave, and we won't do any more checks because the game's won. We can't do any more to the board. All right. Let's see. Let's see. We added a reset, wherever that is. Here it is, reset board. This is a command where we'll clean the board pieces, and this essentially will clean out the data for the pieces, or not, well actually no, not clean out the data, but it'll move the positions back to that unused position. So we don't want to delete the entities because creating them doesn't really work on Portal for this specific type of entity. We just want to move them back out so we can't see them. All right, and then we go ahead and create a new array. We're just basically going to dump the old array that had those values in it and just create a brand new empty one. And then we'll do link board pieces again, which is that command that will find the entities in here, and it will assign them into the array with the data and if it's in use or not. And then we'll go ahead and start new game. So what else do we need to go over here? Okay, I guess we'll show how to do the reset button. The reset button is very simple. You just create a prop floor button and then go into your outputs on pressed. And for this one, I actually showed that you don't actually need the tictactoe globals here for this specific one, since this is inside of this controller's entity scope. We can just go directly to it, and in this case you can see it's going directly to the reset board instead of the the tictactoe globals dot reset board. So reset board is right there, so you can see we can go ahead and access that from here. Remember, we're on pressed and we're accessing our controller scope, and then run script code and then reset board, boom, and then that will work fine for that. I'm so annoyed that the video died though, because I had I explained so much. Don't want to explain all that again. Oh man. I literally clicked I clicked the little stop record button, and when I clicked the stop record button, it didn't stop, and I was like, oh no, what's it doing? And then I realized that it had completely locked up somewhere during the recording, to the point where it never actually created a new video file. That's how bad it was. It didn't even create the new video file. So, um, basically, my mic, not my mic, my headset died, and sometimes it likes to lock up. So I completely stopped the video to make sure that it didn't corrupt it, and then I started a new video. And the new video from that point on is when it screwed up. So that's why not the whole video is corrupted, because it was two videos. But I'm trying to think what I did. I explained a whole bunch of stuff, but I think I did mostly explaining stuff rather than writing stuff down. I'm trying to think. I think most of this code was written on the first part of the video. This isn't. This is basically something that I just pulled out of my checkers game. Game underscore text is a entity that you can put into the game, and you can put like fancy text that you saw. Blue has one, orange has one. So basically, what this is a method inside of the entity where you can do key value from string. So basically, we take the key values inside of the entity. For instance, this entity. That's a bad example because that one doesn't show up. I'll just put this to 1 so it'll show up really quick here. Okay, so target name. You can see target name. That's the key value. So that would be 1. Only it's not, because it doesn't need to be. But for this specific case, we're setting the name of that entity to game text underscore, and then we're basically concatenating temp ent dot end index. And the end index is basically the unique index where that entity is being used. So we can create a unique name by using that ent index. And then down here, it's just essentially the same command used over and over to create the new key values, just like you would put them into Hammer. Message is going to be message, which is passed into here. Channel, which is the channel we're using. The color 2, those are different color settings. These are just like offsets and the different effects like sliding and all that. Then down here, if player is equal to null, it means like if you pass a null into this, that means that we are going to use the all players spawn flag. So normally, if you had a whole bunch of different spawn flags, you'd have to use bit flags, but we're not going to go into that yet, mainly because I don't feel like saying all that stuff again. We'll do that in a later video. But we'll go ahead and let's see, where were we at? Okay, if player is equal to null, then we'll set the spawn flag to 1, which is essentially what the spawn flags would be equal to print this text to all players. And then down here, this do ent fire. This is basically kind of like an input in Hammer. So like an ent fire will be like these outputs here. These outputs will send these inputs. So this is input here, run script code, and then this is the value of that. So we could do things like opening doors, or all kinds of fancy things with this do end fire, which we'll show all that stuff later. But it's got different commands here. This is essentially the what is it called? I can't remember exactly what it's called. I'm going to look it up here. This is their target. That's what it is, target. So target could be a class name, or it could be a name in game. This exclamation point here, this doesn't mean invert. In this specific case, this means that this is a kind of like a variable type. So in this case, it's self. So self means we're going to get this exactly, since that's what the entity is. So temp ent, which is the game text, is going to on itself do the input display, and display is going to display that command. This would be where we would put like the additional, like for instance with this one, the run script code, this would be the additional right here. And then right here, this is a timer, how long to wait before doing the action, 0.0, since we want to do it immediately. The next one here, player, this is the activator. The activator is essentially what the game text will use to know who to print this display to for the player. So like an activator, like for instance, if a person opens a door or they press a button, that player is the activator. So in that case, we're just basically telling the game that this is the activator. And obviously, this was the entity that we're going to run the input command into, sort of deal. So we started on this entity, and then we tell it that's going to be done on itself, and then runs this, and then there's nothing in there, and then we use this as the activator, and so on and so forth. All right, we made this function, and then we in here, we just simply made a simple check. If current team is equal to team orange, then show HUD text orange as 1. If current team is equal to blue, then show blue as 1. And in either case, we set the game as 1, and it will no longer do that until we reset the board. All right, peeps. I think we need to go over clean game pieces, and I think we should be done, because I'm not gonna do all the other stuff again. I'm too worn out. I was gonna eat right after I stopped recording. I was like, I'm hungry, and then I was like, it died. It didn't work, and now I need to do this before I forget where I was. So clean board pieces. Does anyone remember what I was doing? All right, I remember what I was doing. Okay, clean board pieces. This is a function that is going to take these entities and move them back out of view so the player can't see them before we make the new array. So it's basically just boop, 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 moves them out of view, and then after they're out of view, then we can go ahead and clear the arrays here, as we do here, and then we'll go ahead and relink the board pieces. This will regenerate these two here, and then we'll start a new game as if we had just started, and boom, perfect. But yeah, peeps, we're gonna go ahead and end soon here because I is hungry. But yeah, this hasn't taken as long as I thought it was going to, minus the whole having to do it 3 times sort of deal, because I don't know what's going on with the video software, but yeah, this hopefully has explained a little bit on how to do it. I mean, I did a whole bunch of errors and stuff along the way, but that's good as well. Show you how to help you debug your own code, because a lot of people will just show you how everything just works perfectly, but they don't show you what to do when things go wrong, because they don't want to look bad. But me, I apparently don't mind that, because I just did it so many times. But yeah, we could go ahead and move those out of the way, because those, those are just basically the templates we use to see how they'd look on the board. The X actually looks really cool. Like if I release this, I'm probably going to use that X. But then I have to find an equally cool looking circle. Oh man. The challenge is real. But anyway, peeps, hopefully this time the video did not crash. I didn't do anything near as long as I did before, I don't think. I don't even know anymore. But anyway, peeps, we're going to go ahead and call it here. This has been Tic-Tac-Toe in Portal 2. And hopefully you guys learned some stuff. I know I did about video recording. Alright, peeps, we is out.